Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena and another Florida Everblades pregame show. Happy Hispanic Heritage Night. I'm Hannah Jo Groves alongside Jake Maurice. Jake, tough overtime loss against the Atlanta Gladiators for the Blades last night. Before you and I get into it, we are going to go to Adam Plager, who got to talk to Jesse Lansdell back after a one-game suspension and right back to work in that first period. Let's hear what he had to say.
Joined alongside Florida Everblades forward Jesse Lansdell. Jesse, I want to go back to this first period. It felt like your hit early in the game really set the tempo for this game. What can you say about that side of your game?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a side of my game I've always had, and I enjoy doing it, and sometimes the team needs a little motivation or something to get the guys going, so something I like to do.
It seems like your line with Reed Duke and Jet Jones has found a lot of chemistry, a checking line. What can you say about the chemistry you've built with your line mates?
Yeah, it's been good. We've only played together probably 3 or 4 games. It's kind of been all over the place, but they're both easy guys to play with, so it's been fun.
The forecheck, especially for your line, it feels like it's suffocating against other teams. How vital is that to creating some offense?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, it's big for our whole team and stuff, so the more you can get on them, make turnovers, get pucks to the net, it's going to help us score goals and win games. So it's big for our line and big for our team. Last
one, how does this group respond following a tough loss like this tonight, especially getting ready to start early?
Yeah, just short-term memory, kind of get back at them same way and, be even harder to play against and play for a full 60 tomorrow night.
Jesse, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Our Adam Plager also got to talk to assistant coach Kyle Mountain after the loss last night and got his thoughts. Let's take a look.
Joined alongside the assistant coach of the Florida Everblades, Kyle Mountain, following a 5-4 overtime decision. Coach, I want to go back to the first period. It felt like you guys were committed to playing a physical, tight checking game, really dictated the tempo early.
Yeah, I didn't think we had enough physicality in our game Wednesday, so that was definitely a point of emphasis for us over the last couple days, just in video review and meetings. So I thought the guys, responded well in that sense. I thought we set a good tone early on. Let that slip a little bit probably in the second period, but picked it back up in the third. So kind of a tale of two different games, and would like to see us kind of play a full 60, but pretty good start for us.
Scoring the first goal, always so important. You guys jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. What was it about the start that you felt like you had so much energy in the tank?
Yeah, like you said, just a response to a bit of a lackluster performance on Wednesday. So that the guys responded really well and just answered the bell in what we knew was going to be a tough game for both sides. So I thought we just were able to establish our forecheck in a much better way than we did Wednesday. It's good to get rewarded early, especially against such a good goaltender. So they certainly set the tone for us early in the game.
Special teams always so important. Both sides go 1 for 2 on the power play. What did you see in that aspect of the game?
Yeah, good to get our guys going on the power play. I thought, they had some really good looks and obviously capitalized on the one. Would certainly like that one on the kill back. But, it was good to get the power play going a little bit tonight.
Anthony Romano continues to step up. 2 huge goals in the third period. What did you see out of his game?
Yeah, total game changer, and that second one was a total snipe. So, that guy, he's got that ability to change a game at any given moment. So, obviously, ton of momentum through the third. Getting that one, wish we could have sealed the deal, but great performance out of him.
You guys were down to 5 defensemen in the third period. What can you say about your defense core, just battling throughout that third period to continue to fight?
Yeah, they're a tough group, so they don't shy away from the challenge. I thought they did a really good job in the third. I thought we kind of locked it down in the third. Obviously, they pulled the goalie and they get one, but I thought overall that was a really strong period for us. So good on those guys to kind of rally and play well with just being down to 5 guys.
Last one for you. Tough pill to swallow tonight. How do you guys rally back to close the series out tomorrow night?
Yeah, just got to show some resolve and some mental toughness and come back ready to go. So just reset, recover tonight, and get the job done tomorrow.
Coach, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Adam. So, Jake, Coach Mountain talked about how important it was for he and his team to prove themselves after Wednesday night. So let's get into that positivity first. What were the biggest differences you saw between Wednesday and then especially that first period in last night's game?
Yeah, great start to the game. Florida was physical. Jesse Lansdell coming back into the lineup, immediately making his presence known with some thunderous hits along the boards. The other guys follow along. They get Atlanta running around a bit out of their structure, and Florida capitalizes for a pair of goals. They get one on the power play as well, getting that rolling on home ice again, which great to see that.
Yeah.
Kind of went away in the second and third.
Yes.
There were no special teams at all in the second and third period, so those opportunities just weren't there for either side. In those second and third frames, Atlanta was able to find their way back into the game, but in the third period, Florida down. They got a nice individual effort from Anthony Romano to tie the game, and from that, Florida rode the wave of momentum well, took the lead with another Romano goal,
Yes.
and unfortunately couldn't finish it off. But there were
Yes.
certainly a lot of points in that game where Florida was playing their brand of style and getting Atlanta to chase, which is what the
Yes.
Gladiators had Florida doing on Wednesday.
Right.
So it's just a matter of now that final step of having it go throughout the full 60 minutes, and Florida can be on their way to a win tonight.
Yes, a lot of bright spots, but yeah, I wanted to get more in depth on those goals by Anthony Romano because they left me speechless, to be honest with you, both of them. They were pretty close together. So can you walk us through just what you remember of that first one and then move to the second one?
Yeah, well, the first one is it starts with their guy trying to clear. Making it on his backhand is always a tough move. Romano
Yes.
recognizes that. Hand goes up, grabs the puck, brings it down, and he's right out front all by himself.
Amazing.
And makes a nice move. Yeah, it's just it's a very smart play, even though it might not look it. It looks more like it's athletic. But he recognizes that the Atlanta defender is trying to make the clear on his backhand, and that it very likely isn't going to work out because it's so
Right.
tough to do so. Takes advantage, goes to the net right away, puts a good move around a very good goaltender in TJ Semptimphelter and ties the game. And then on that second goal, it's some good passing to get Romano moving up the ice with speed, and he just absolutely snipes it. Beautiful shot. He's a guy who can score from multiple different points in the attacking zone. He's not just a guy who relies on being net front, or not a guy who's only a sniper from distance and needs a perfect pass and a setup in the right spot.
Right.
He can score from anywhere in different ways, makes him so lethal. Big part of why the Everblades were able to get a point out of last night's game.
Yes. Coach Mountain called him a game changer. Definitely proved his status as an all-star.
Absolutely,
For us.
100%.
So nice to see him doing what he does best. So let's now go to the tougher part of the game, because after Anthony Romano did get us the lead 4-3 in the third period with less than 2 minutes to go, what happened?
Well, unfortunately, Florida trying to clear it out of their own zone. It goes a bit too far. It's an icing call. Florida can't make changes. They've got some tired bodies stuck on the ice, and the Gladiators took full advantage. I mean, that they did what they were supposed to do. Unfortunately, the Everblades, they couldn't just get the puck outside the line. Unfortunately, a shot from distance with a lot of traffic makes its way through, ties the game, and then in overtime, it's a possession battle. Whichever team is controlling the puck is going to find their way to win.
Yes.
Blades had a really good look from Reed Duke driving the net for a chance at his second of the game, got stopped, and then the other way, Walter gets into the slot, and he scores to end the night, unfortunately.
So a series of unfortunate events, definitely, but were there specific weaknesses, maybe throughout the whole night even, that you felt like the Gladiators were able to kind of expose for the Blades?
Well, certainly in the second period, they got back to more of their style of
Yeah,
game. And
the
it was
Gladiators did.
unfortunate to see that because of how strong Florida was in the first period. You knew
Yeah.
there were going to be adjustments from the Gladiators. They're a very strong team. They're
Yeah.
right up there with the Blades near the top of the South Division for a reason.
Yes.
They were able to get back to their style of game. And in the second period, Florida wasn't able to truly counter. It took until the third with those Romano goals to get Florida back into control of the matchup. Atlanta also got their power play moving in the first period, which kind of brought them back into the game at first. It would have
Right.
been way different if Florida was going into the second period with a
2-0,
2-0 lead
yeah.
versus the 2-1 score.
Right.
And that's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Gladiators team that even though they're not super lethal offensively,
Right.
they've got some great weapons, and they got a number of good individual performances. Chad Nychuk in particular yesterday was excellent for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Scored the game-tying goal to bring them back into that one and then set up the game winner in overtime.
You mentioned the positions and standings. I wanted to talk about how much energy, aggression, and chippiness we saw last night. Remind the Blades fans why this series is so important for both of these teams.
Well, yeah, we sure did see a lot of it, particularly in that first period. I mean,
Yes.
right now, Florida is 1 point ahead of Atlanta for the top spot in the South Division, and this is the last game that Atlanta is going to play in this building this year. Florida will see the Gladiators 3 more times on the road this season, including one next week on Wednesday. I mean, it's quite possible these games are the difference between first and second place, and then if you meet up in the second round, are we
Yeah.
starting at Hertz Arena or at Gas South? That's
Yes.
quite a big difference.
Yes.
You heard the crowd yesterday in the first period when things were getting physical. They were electric, giving the
Electric.
guys on the ice a lot of energy. There's a big difference between if you get that for 4 games in a series versus for 3.
Right.
And also, just all that physicality
Yeah.
was when the Blades were playing their best.
Right.
When it kind of fizzled out of the game in the second period, well, Atlanta was able to counter. They're not the biggest team in the world. They've got some guys with good size, but they're not a team that's just filled with bruisers. They're not a team that enjoys getting into a physical matchup like the South Carolina Stingrays or some others.
Yes.
They're a team that's more predicated on speed, on having space, on being creative. they were able to get back to that in the second period when the physicality leaked out of the game.
Yes.
When it was in the game, it was Florida who was in control.
So what kinds of things are you expecting from Atlanta tonight? Are you expecting them to try to drive home their style of play like they did in the second last night? What specific things are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking for the Gladiators, they're going to be looking for a better start than what they had.
Yeah.
They, as mentioned, got chasing the Everblades, both physically in terms of fights and then in the pace of play.
Yeah.
So they're going to be looking to get out of the gate a little better. And they are a team that prides themselves on defense. They don't often come away with the wins like they did last night. That was their
Yeah.
biggest comeback win of the season for their group.
Yeah.
They, you're happy with it. It's fun for their side, but they don't want to have to do that again.
Right,
So they're going to
right.
be looking to get back to a calmer defensive game. I'd imagine for Florida, it would be a little bit of the opposite.
Yeah.
Try and make things mucked up again. Get in their
Yes.
faces, get physical with them, and use that to your advantage.
Well, so let's get more specific on that with the direct effect marketing 3 keys of the game, our last chance here at home.
Yeah, the physicality is super important. Was the defining point of the first period was Lansdale going out with that hit on the big one on his first shift, gets everything going and sets the tone right away. Florida's going to be looking to do that again. Second off, we saw it in the first period how important special teams are.
Yes.
These are, even though it didn't quite show up last night, these are 2 teams that pride themselves on their defensive work.
Mm-hmm.
When you get special teams opportunities, you have to cash in. Both teams did, and because of that, it changed the game for both
Yes.
sides when those power play goals were scored. And it also changed the game that they didn't come around for either side in the second or the third period. Very much could have been a different game if Florida gets a power play opportunity in the third period to extend their lead up to multiple goals. And then finally, this one is going to be one where it's got to be a complete every player kind of game. Florida's a banged up team right now, going up against a Gladiators group that is pretty
Strong.
much
Yeah.
fully healthy.
Yeah.
They had Mateer get called up to the AHL, but they're really not missing any of their big pieces apart from that. It's one of those kind of gut check moments for the
Yeah.
Everblades, a game like this. You're down
Definitely.
a number of very important players. You're coming off a couple of really tough losses
Yeah.
in your own building.
Yeah.
You're back in front of your home crowd tonight to end off the month of January. You want to be going into February with some good momentum. There's, after this one, only 2.5 months left to go.
That's crazy.
We are closer to the playoffs than we are to the regular season now.
Oh, man.
So these are the kind of moments where you really find out about the DNA of what a group has,
Absolutely.
what they're made of.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got to be at their best tonight, so it can't be one where one guy, one line is carrying the load. Everybody's got to be ready for this one tonight.
Makes sense. Well, and they're wearing different jerseys tonight as they were last night. The Everblades are the Las Tortugas. Or I guess I should just say Las Tortugas, not the. But they are wearing these specialty jerseys that you can actually get on the Dash Auction app, game worn, game issued. Make sure you get your name in because these are always a hot commodity, but especially this year because they're pretty nice looking, as
They
you
look
can see.
very nice, as always.
As
Tyler
always,
Center
Tyler
gets the job
Center.
done.
So go ahead and get on that Dash Auction app to get your bid in now. Well, Jake, next up we've got warm-ups. Then it's the Atlanta Gladiators versus the Las Tortugas or your Florida Everblades. We'll see you there.